Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Direct Asset. Today we're going to go over rifle basics and fundamentals and how to shoot in less than 10 minutes. So let's start with the rifle itself. We're going to go with the common AR15. There are different variations of the AR and different types. So you're going to have to do your research in regards to where different things fall, such as your charging handle, your magazine. Some are in the front, some are in the back. Most charging handles for the common AR are on the back. Some will be on the side. But for today, for basic and simplicity purposes, we're going to go over what the common AR looks like, how it functions, and how to get ready to rock and roll. So, just to let you know as a disclaimer, I do have a 22 in here, but it's just a conversion, so all the fundamentals and everything are still the same. All right. For the weapon itself, you have your buttstock. When you position the rifle in your shoulder pocket, which is going to be right here, your shoulder is going to be slightly arched forward. Okay. Same thing when you're shooting a pistol, your shoulder is going to be slightly arched forward. It creates that little pocket here that your buttstock is going to go inside and stay positioned there like so. Buttstock, shoulder pocket, bam, ready to go. Okay. Your finger is along the receiver on the outside, just like any other firearm, and your non-dominant hand, which is your support hand, will be midway down the rifle, okay, depending on what variation of length you got. Most standards will be 16 inches. It will go midway down the rifle. You don't have to have a squared off stance here. You can have one of your legs, whether you're lefty or righty, slightly behind you and a slightly wider stance for stabilization and recoil management. So you're here, and you're not chicken winging it. Your elbow is down, your support hand is midway, and you're pulling into you like this, not gripping in so tight that your hands are shaking, but you want to have a good grip. So when you're looking down and you're pulling in, and when you're shooting, it's recoiling, but you have full control over your muzzle and the recoil that's reciprocating into your body and being controlled by your abdomen and your stance, and you can effectively fire at a target. This is called your magazine, okay? You put the bullets in, front tip facing forward, and you load them in. The spring will be compressed, and it will be compressed to a point where you can't load any more. That will be dependent upon how many rounds you're able to put in. There's a 10 round, a 25 round, a 30 round. They even have drum magazines. So most will have this common 30 round magazine, unless it depends on your state laws. They will be different. So the first thing you want to do in regards to loading your rifle is to insert the magazine. You will hear a click. Okay, either you will hear a click, but that does not always mean it is seated. So you always want to do a little tug to make sure that this doesn't fall out, because if it does, or it's not seated properly, it will disrupt your cycle of operations and cause your weapon to go what is called out of battery. Okay, now in regards to that, you know how to load your weapon properly. Another thing I want to go over is how to release your magazine. Your magazine is seated. This is called your magazine release. For the common AR, it will be right above the trigger guard right here. You press the button, it releases the magazine. Sometimes the magazine will fall from gravity. Sometimes you have to yank it out because it will not fall from gravity, okay? On this side, okay, we have what's called your bolt catch or your bolt release. So what this does is, when you pull your charging handle, right, you're going to use one finger. Some people use two, but most times you will use your support hand to pull it back, okay? When you pull your charging handle back, as you can see here, your bolt will retract to the back position in order to put a round inside the chamber. And then you will let it go for it to then put a round in the chamber to be ready to go, okay? So again, you pull back one hand, you let it go. This controls your bolt reciprocating, okay? Your bolt catch is this little piece, it's this whole paddle piece right here. And what you do is, you pull your charging handle back, you press the paddle down, you release your handle, and your bolt will stay to the rear. You see that hole there? Normally on with a AR15 bolt carrier group, this will stay fully retracted to the rear, but you see the point here with that. All right. When you want to let the bolt go forward to then put the round inside the chamber, you will then press that release. Okay. Now it is fully seated. Okay. So I'll show you with the magazine just so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay. I'm going to release it to the back. You can see the shiny brass there. I'm going to release the bolt release. I'll press the paddle. It's now put one in. Very simple, okay? Now your weapon is hot, all right, because you have a round in the chamber, okay? Your magazine is seated. Now we're going to get to our safety, which is located here. I understand there's paint on this, but when you don't have a painted rifle, it's the same mechanics. So it'll usually be a 90-degree lever that you flip with your thumb here, okay? So what you do is you can flip your safety down, which will put it to fire mode, all right? So if you're here, you're in your stance, you're coming up, you're ready to fire, you flip your safety. When you're not shooting, okay, you're gonna wanna flip your safety back, like that. I'll show it to you on this side. You're gonna flip your safety back. Fire, safe. Fire, safe, okay? So the reason you wanna get used to doing that, all right, is because when you're firing in a position where you're here, you're shooting, that at some point, anytime you take your eyes off of the target or you take your eyes away from your scope on whatever you may have, whether it's a red dot, whatever type of scope or optic you have, you want to release that safety. All right, so I'm firing. You want to release that safety and get used to manipulating that safety in that manner every single time. So if your muzzle is not up and you're actively firing, your safety is on, because that gives you safety with other people possibly in the area. All right, so you're shooting, bang, 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 bang. You're not shooting, your safety goes on, okay, at all times. So now we're going to talk about the two different types of ways you hold your rifle, and this is also similar to when you're running high port. It's in your pocket of your armpit here, and it's just in this position here where it's high and up and ready. It's still on safe. It's a quick access for you to go here, fire, okay? High port. You can reload from here, right? And you can go to work from here, all right? Your other option is low port. Or more likely you can have it like this, where you're just walking around, or if you need it a little bit raised than that, you can have it here, okay? Most times it will be high port, only for the reason of, depending on your situation and context, which that's a whole nother video. If you're going around people, you're going to want to have the muzzle up where you can move around, do what you need to do, open doors if that has to be the case. And then when you need to engage, you're here. Okay? Very simple. Opposed to bringing it all the way up here like this. All right? It's right here. You can run like this. You can do what you need to do. You can check. You can look around. And then, boom, you can go to work. That's pretty much all you need to know in regards to the basics, the fundamentals of shooting an AR-15 common rifle. If you have other variations of a rifle, always do your research, look it up. If you guys got any questions, let me know. I tried to make this really simplistic and basic as possible. And the last thing I actually want to talk about before I forget is your optic. Zero your optic properly. That is a whole nother video. You now know how to shoot a rifle. As always, stay tuned. Guys, don't forget to check out the website, like, subscribe to the YouTube page if you want. We're going to be coming out with tons of more content. We got a lot of new projects that's coming up. If you guys want to check on the website, it'll have a project page right in the front home page of things that I'm actively trying to do. Can't wait to hear comments. As always, thank you guys so much for following. Stay tuned and stay deadly.